Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual guests or creators and do not necessarily represent the views of their employers, business partners, affiliates, or advertisers. Any opinions, advice, or statements made on this podcast are not intended to be taken as fact or professional advice. Please consult a qualified professional before making any decisions based on the content of this podcast.
Hi everybody, welcome to Untapped Azania. My name is Maureen, the even the queen, the even the princess, or Pindulo, the answer, whichever one you prefer. Welcome to another episode of Untapped Azania. I do not chill alone, I chill with the one and only
Mash D.
How you doing, Mash D?
Scorpion King's fresh. Then the Queen just made Ethiopian TikTok fresh. I'm just from breathing in that good ass Venda Prana fresh. Masipa a global warming fresh.
What?
I'm fresh, and my fresh just gets fresher.
What's the mood? What's the temperature?
You know, the diamonds, even with the global warming, you know, they're glowing
always
greater than the pressure.
I love that. Welcome to another episode once again. If you're new here, please like, subscribe. Let us know what you've been tapped into so we can tap into that as well. If you're returning also, what have you been doing? Like, subscribe, hit us up on our socials so we can tap into what you've been tapped into as well. But without wasting any time, my dog, what have you been tapped into?
Yo, I've been thinking about how countries spend most of their money on the military, and that was making me think about a reel I came across. And I'm not going to mention who, I'm not going to attach it because this is a controversial figure, right? But he was cooking. And what he was talking about was how humans just don't trust each other. Because if you look at a sport like soccer, we know the rules. We know if the ball gets outside the line in play, it's a throw in, or it's a corner, or it's a goal kick. If you kick someone, it's a free kick. If you kick someone in the box, it's a penalty. But there's a referee.
Yes.
There's a referee.
Yes.
So I was thinking about the military industrial complex, and it made me think back to that reel again, because I was like, the fact that countries invest so much money in their military just speaks to how much we just don't trust each other as humanity.
Yeah. And to think about how, some of these things that we invest in, these are, things that, if you think about, nuclear energy or, nuclear powers and stuff like that, if one of any of these countries uses any of their stuff, they just use, top of the range, we are all doomed.
Yeah.
So we are all just, developing above each other so that we don't get to a point where we are oh no, somebody else has more power to doom the entire world than us.
Yeah. With nuclear, you know how I think about it? Yuval Noah Harari put it well in an interview once where he was speaking about how there's a certain level of protectionism that nuclear creates.
So, nuclear weapons are, in a way, they also, until now, preserved the peace of the world. I belong to the school of thought that if it was not for nuclear weapons, we would have had the Third World War between the Soviet Union and the United States and NATO sometime in the 1940s or in the 1950s or 60s. That nuclear weapons actually, until today, served a good function.
In that no one's going to press the button, essentially.
Yes.
There was this famous story about how this Russian military leader who was responsible for basically triggering Russia's nuclear got a trigger, and it was essentially a false trigger. And I can't remember his name. It was essentially a false trigger, right? And what ended up happening is he decided that, okay, Russia is about to end, or this part of the world is about to end, but I'm not going to retaliate because at least there'll still be humanity. So his moral his moral compass kicked in, right? And I think it was Soviet Union era.
In 1983, a Soviet submarine in the Pacific detected multiple incoming U.S. missiles. The early warning system went off, and it looked like a full-scale attack by the U.S. Stanislav Petrov, the officer on duty, had to decide to either launch a nuclear strike back or wait. He trusted his gut and declared it a false alarm. If he was wrong, millions would have died. Because of him, nuclear war was avoided. And that's how one man's choice saved the world.
And it's so crazy when I think about a situation like that, right? I feel like if he did trigger it, right, and the US didn't retaliate, the world was going to look at that specific situation, and he was probably going to get detained, and Russia was not, like, the Russian country wasn't going to defend
take
him.
responsibility.
Yeah, they weren't going to defend him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's crazy. There's actually a series, I think I was talking about it before here, called Paradise. And it's linked to, I don't want to spoil it, but it's linked to a bit of that. It's like something happens in the world and one person has the power to actually decide if this thing starts happening. And they end up pulling the trigger and it sets a whole chain reaction of things just happening around them. And it's like, there's a specific episode where it's like, it shows you just how much, when it really gets down to it, the powers that be don't care about you. Like, whether you're guarding the White House, you are top security detail, or you are like, they select the people that they select, and when it gets down to it, we all just die. We all just go. We all just go down. So I hear you, bruh.
Yeah.
I hear you.
That's why I say it creates a certain level of, because if you look at North Korea, like, they haven't been infiltrated by the West simply because they have nuclear. Kim Jong-un is just like, hey, I'll bomb all of you, you know? And that protects them from their sovereignty. And, yeah.
But it's a crazy thing that, like, we have to live in a world where, like, you have to know that I have more of what causes distraction or what destroys, so that you don't use your own. Like, because you know that if you use yours, I have much. It's like people playing around with toys, like kids playing around with toys, bruh. Like, the kid that has the best toy gets all the love and you know all the. So it's like, if I bring out my little Taz and this kid has like a Lamborghini of a toy, like, obviously it's a Taz, bro. Like, no, it's not gonna matter much. So I'm not gonna stunt on the kid that has a Lamborghini when I know that the kid has a Lamborghini. You know what I mean? But it that kind of mentality just filters through into even adults, like old people. It just shows how much, like, yeah, like, we can't get in a room and agree we're not gonna bomb each other, and we can trust each other that we're not gonna bomb each other. That's wild.
Yeah.
But also, I guess, on a day-to-day, how many people do you trust with your whole life? Like, how many people do you completely trust? Also.
I think I was naive when I was young, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably stopped being naive like early 20s. Like, I was the kind of person that thought most people in the world have good intentions, you know? And I've been had, you know?
Yeah. I've been had.
So you're not living your raps.
I've been duped.
And yet, hornswoggled.
No more.
That's what you're saying.
No more.
Right now.
That's where I was coming from.
Right.
There.
I'm drawing the line.
Then maybe you could name one. Since then,
that not once.
Name one.
Not anymore.
You can't.
I've been had.
It's okay, bro. It's okay.
I've been had.
It's okay. It's okay. Safe space.
But no more. No more. No more.
That was your last time. That was your last time,
no
brother.
more.
No, but you know what? I still think I trust. I still think most people have good intentions. I just don't. I trust people to be who and what they are, right? So I feel like you can have good intentions, but you're also, it's like that dichotomy. You are a human being and you have your bad. And some people just can't control their bad side to an extent. So you just have to see like how much people have control over their bad side and even how they manifest it into the outside world. But I expect people to disappoint me. It's just that I think I expect them. I might form ideas on how I expect people to disappoint me.
Okay.
And I'm more disappointed in that they don't disappoint me in that way. Like, I know Mesh is probably going to disappoint me, but I'm not expecting Mesh to stab me in the back or
And
do
then-
something
and then he
wild.
stabs you in the back.
And then he stabs me in the back. You see
And
that?
you're like, you went lower than the low I placed on you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, anything else, my dog?
Something I've also been thinking about was, you've probably thought deeply about navigating the world as a boy versus navigating the world as a girl. And if you were a boy,
Oh yes.
Yeah.
This is so crazy because I
okay.
had something to talk about that
Okay.
specifically, actually.
Yeah. Okay. What were you thinking?
Do you know what I was gonna ask you for? What have you been tapped into?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you if how many times you think about how you look,
Okay.
how
It's
consistent.
so crazy. I was thinking about it completely different,
Okay.
but I get it. How many times do I think about how I look? I only started thinking about that recently
Damn.
because and only in the context of just being on the camera, like
yeah.
take good care of yourself because you're on
You're on
camera.
camera.
And I was like, God damn, like, take walks, drink
Be
good
outside.
water. Go back home and breathe in the good ass Venda prana so you come back.
Hey, we're gonna
rejuvenated.
hear about this.
Yeah. So I think that's the context through which I think about it mostly. And that also speaks to that boy-girl dichotomy because I think for the most part, maybe it's I can't put my finger on it because guys wear makeup these days. But I think that with a guy, right, we don't approach women from the perspective of like looking good. Like that isn't a metric that we actually essentially, and in as much as it does matter because women do have a type, like I like him dark skinned and tall or short or whatever, right? But we don't place, I don't think guys place that much emphasis on that as much as girls place that much emphasis on it. Yeah, what are your thoughts? I can tell you're thinking.
Yeah, I actually don't think so.
Okay.
I don't. I think maybe, okay. So the reason I wanted to ask that question was because I've like all my life, I've had to think about how I look,
Okay.
right? But I think it just progressed as I got older, like in certain, like, I think I thought of when I was younger, maybe in primary school, high school, I probably did think about how I look, but I didn't really care. Like, I was just like, this is whatever. And nobody really, I didn't think anybody in my surrounding cared so much about how I looked. It wasn't like a thing that people usually spoke about around me or brought it up in conversations. But obviously, as you get older, there's all these beauty standards and you start like, you constantly have to think about like things, like even things that are like, even just not wearing makeup seems like a conscious decision because everybody else sort of wears the makeup, right? And it's not to say it's bad or good, but it's like you are intentional. Like choosing not to wear makeup sometimes is like an intentional decision, right? And that affects how you kind of show up in the world because there's girlies that are like, I'm makeup, and I'm not makeup, and people sometimes debate against each other on who
this
wears
goes
makeup.
back to what I'm saying because that the makeup aspect would maybe a function of that would be the level of confidence, right? Maybe a girl feels more confident with makeup on versus not having makeup
Yeah,
on, right? But that isn't I can't think of a male equivalent of that. Perhaps if we go to the macro, yes, guys want to be providers, so every guy wants a big bag. You know, when you're dreaming as a guy and you're young, most guys are thinking, yo, I wanna make all the money in the world. I wanna, you know, I wanna be a provider.
But that's what I thought when I was a kid, and this is why I have a problem with these stuff, right?
Okay.
Because when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna create. Like I just thought of like that stuff. Like I thought I'm gonna create. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna build this or whatever, right? All these things in my head. But it got to a point where it was like, you're a girl. Like life reminded me that, dude, you're a girl.
Okay.
And you kind of have to be conscious of like how you look, right? And a part of that is also like, people talk about the female gaze, the male gaze. It's also because of that. It's like, and I mean, I guess maybe I'm hearing you differently, because I was thinking that you're saying that like guys don't care about how girls look.
No, I was saying guys don't essentially care about how they look.
Right. Because that's why I wasn't agreeing with that, because I was like, no.
Not girls. They're obsessed with how girls look.
Yeah, because
but I'm just saying guys don't care about, like, don't think about the things that girls think about when they think about themselves.
I think guys just think they need to have money. And
yes,
I think that's
the thing.
And honestly,
that's the thing. That's why guys, for the most part, will approach any girl, right? And the girl might even feel like,
whoa,
like, what are you thinking? Because they're not thinking like out of my league, you know? And perhaps they are, because it does go back to self-esteem and confidence,
like how
and all
you
of
view
that.
the world also.
Yeah, like,
but like I think that's a problem.
yeah.
Right? It's a
you know
problem
what,
to
man?
me that like, and I think that I don't think beauty or superficial things should matter that much, right?
Okay, but beyond superficial. Oh, sorry.
But I do think that it's a problem that guys start thinking about how they look way later than girls start thinking about how they look. Because I feel like girls I kind of end up in this unending project of self-improvement, of trying to look better, of getting the best hair. And it's beautiful, it's nice, right? But you sometimes just get in this cycle of being better. And sometimes it can be extreme where people are just doing procedures on their body. And yes, do your procedure if you can. But like some of these procedures, you're like, you were okay. And if you ask people why they did those procedures, it's because, I didn't like, if you think about Lil' Kim, she was like, every guy she dated told her that she was ugly. And they always went for like lighter skinned or sort of more socially accepted looking people after they dated her. So she ended up getting those surgeries. But if you look at her pictures, like she was a fine babe. She was a fine babe. And on the other side, I think it's like when guys like why don't you care about how you look? Like why?
No, I don't think it's about not caring about how we look. I think it's just it's a thing of these priorities. And I think it's not amongst the highest things that we're thinking about essentially.
I need that to be top priority, boys.
You know, it's
I
not
need
like
that. I need that.
it's not like you know, unless it's like even when you get the most extreme that think about that, it's the gym and getting buffed up. It's never really about like at the core of it, like.
It's like an addition. I hear you. It's like an additional thing that I do. It's not like the main thing
like,
that
can
I
do.
But if on the flip side, with girls, it's like you have to be beautiful. Like that's like you have.
You know what, Nick? Like, girls are on the receiving end. So something I was thinking about when I was thinking about this, right, was how like any girl right now that I could be considering pursuing based on the conversations I've been having with women now, right? Probably doesn't even think I'm pursuing them because I'm still getting to know the kind of books they're into. I'm having general conversations, but it's like I actually like Maureen, right? So it's that thing where it's like if I choose Maureen eventually, then she's gonna be baffled at, oh my God, like we've actually been connecting with this person. We've been getting to know each other. We're good friends now. And it's like, Mash actually feels like that about me. Like I think girls don't have that privilege. Because girls don't essentially shoot shots. You know, that's a rare.
Okay.
Because even if you like someone as a girl, right, for the most part, you're hoping they
They
like you back and they shoot their shot.
they shoot their
As a
shot.
guy, if I like a girl, I know
You can.
I'll eventually, like if I like her, I'll eventually, I just want to tick a few boxes, certain boxes,
yeah.
right? I could get rejected. There's that
Right.
flip side, but I have the privilege of, you know, I can engage with someone, and if I like them, get to know them, understand them, and then
You know-
eventually shoot my shot.
You know what, Mashi? Just on that shooting a shot thing, like I am progressive. I think I'm a very progressive human being.
Yeah.
But please, I will not shoot my shot.
Yeah,
like
I think it makes.
I will not.
I think it makes sense for women not
I
to.
will not. I like it's not. I can like you, and this is the other thing about it. It's like I think because girls are used to being approached. They also kind of know kind of how to kind of have certain conversations, like to lead conversations in a certain way because of the approach that the person would have done. I don't think, me personally, I don't think I have the right way of entering into that conversation and holding it from my end.
You know what's crazy? I think
No.
there's no right or wrong way,
Yeah, but
because you also when you think about the male female sort of relationship, right? Cool, there's things you can think about at the highest level, at a macro, right? But now when you're engaging with an individual, you're engaging with an individual, bro. Like the individual human experience is nuanced.
it is. And I think we underestimate how nuanced it is. It's just that when I think about these things, I think about how, like, you see how I hold a conversation with you, or I'll hold a conversation with a bunch of my guy friends. And that's purely because I don't like the guys. They are just my friends. Or I interact with people all around me, and people look at me, they're like, oh, she's so confident. Oh, she speaks so well. You can hold a conversation. But if it's somebody I like, my boy.
Okay, yeah,
It's
but
like-
there's that. Like you can if you can tell when a girl has butterflies, and you're like, okay, if you feel the same way about her, like, yes, bro, she's just jittery. She drops things when you're around, and those things, yes, those things can, but it's still nuanced. I feel like some people don't give it off enough. You
True,
know?
because sometimes, right, it comes off, and I think this is something that I've got it. It's like people think I hate them because I'm just critical of what they say. Like I just question every
That's what
other
I'm
thing
saying.
they say.
It's- The individual human experience is too nuanced.
It's such a weird thing, but yeah,
What
such an
else?
interesting
What else
thing.
have you been tapped into?
Two things. One, Bafana playing tonight. I hope we win. I was actually trying to get a jersey, and I'm like, yeah, we're back on that era where we actually get Bafana jerseys. So yes. And also we have the rugby playing tomorrow. So it's a very nice weekend to be South African this weekend. And nice to be outside, I guess. The second thing is just how it's spring. And I was just thinking about like, and it's connected to a conversation we had like at a different time, but it's also like letting go of old things. Like nature has this thing, like these seasons remind us all the time that like there will be times where like things are cold, and then there will be times where like it's warm, it's like it's blooming, it's green, it's like energy outside. Like the people that I've been talking to outside, everybody just seems a little bit lighter, a little bit happier than they were. And it's probably because I like the warmer weather. But it's like, I was just thinking that like nature does it in such an automatic way that like humans think it's a choice
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah. You know, that's making me think of like the amount of leaves we had on our driveway, right? Like this past week when I was home, it was crazy. Like they'd clean up and then they'd be
There's
more
more.
leaves, and then they'd clean up. And one of the last conversations I was having with my dad as I left was like him talking about how now we've gotten rid of all the leaves, and the trees are gonna be like, he's like, we're gonna experience this next year, this time. We've
Like,
gotten rid of all of the dry
yeah.
leaves, and that's the thing about nature understands.
Yeah.
It's it's reinforcing.
And it does its thing. Like it does its thing without, like, it's automatic. It's like it's the season now for these things to be let go. It lets go.
That's so chakra.
Imagine. But yeah, imagine if like winter tried to hold on to like spring seasons. Like, you'd be so pissed, bro. You'd be okay, at least me, because I like summer. I'd be like, nah, bro. Like, why is winter not going away? And even in the last few days of winter, like, everybody was just like, this thing that just doesn't want to go away.
Yeah.
But we do that on like our daily lives. Like, we're very much like passive in how like our seasons have changed and we have to get rid of dead things around us. We don't. And we just hold on to the dead things. And sometimes the new things come when the dead things are still there. And now you can't see the new things because you have mixed it up with the dead things. And now it's like weird. Or sometimes the new things can come because the dead things are holding up so much space that like new things can't find a space to be there. So it's just what I've been thinking, that like it's a new season. It's time to let go of things. It's time to let go of even just as simple as like going through your wardrobe and finding things that you don't wear anymore, Maureen, and giving it away because you haven't worn it in a year. Like, what are the chances? You know what I mean? And even take an emotional check in. Be like, yo, I've been holding on to this resentment and heartache or this heartbreak. Like, for what?
It's
Like,
so much
season
harder
come for me to.
It's so much harder to drink water in winter, and it's so easy to drink water in summer. I don't know.
Ooh, look at you!
Like we're only
Clock
missing essence.
Nah, we just do this entire place, candles, cleanse the place. If I could, I would actually. It's a new season, and maybe we need that. I don't know. But yeah, let's get on to
The question of the week.
question of the week. So, Meshi, if you could switch lives for a day and be me, right? What would be the first thing you do as me?
Definitely not go for a run. What would I do as you, man? You know what? I'd just be you. Like I'd because listen to how profound that would be. I'd just be you, bro. Like I would go check out your calendar, check out your responsibilities, go to work, like just be you. Go to work. Okay, except the running part, I wouldn't run. I'd walk the same distance.
Okay.
I'd go check in with my brothers, and I would, like just be you. Check in with my friends. And because the thing is, I can think about how I could use you as like a female species to just do something I've been curious to do as a girl. But man, like, how about I just be you,
I mean, I think that's like...
Because being you for a day is being you, like work your job.
Fair enough.
Yes. That's a profound experience.
Fair
because
enough.
it's different. It's definitely different from
Fair
my own
enough.
experience. It'll also just make sure it's a week where I don't have the pod. Like I'd make sure I'm tapping into things that don't coincide with the kind of things we both like. Like where our
Okay.
Venn diagrams intersect.
Okay.
Where they're singular. That's what
Yeah, but I think that would be difficult.
that's the thing.
I think that would be I think that would be difficult
but
because I
imagine-
think you would be doing all the non-fun stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I think
You think they're not fun. You think they're not fun?
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I'm taking it because nje.
Yeah,
If
because
I
if I was to like go with my intrusive thoughts and choose like if I was a girl, I would just get up to nonsense, bro.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
No, I still want my body back
Yeah.
after the day please.
Yeah.
I still need to be alive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I was you, what would I do? If I was you, I would, okay, this is on a more general space. I'll go for a run, but like,
Wow.
but like, but like very early or very late in the evening.
That's an if I was a boy. That's literally an if I was a boy because you don't have that privilege as a girl to like be out in the evenings.
Okay, fair enough. That's a more general one.
Yeah.
And if a more specific one, I'd have a joint. And like
It's so crazy how I was having a conversation about how
and like, yeah.
someone at home was asking me like talking about our dynamic, and I was like, you know, it's so crazy how I don't know someone who's been as sober and like raw dogging life as Maureen. And it's so crazy how you say that. Yeah, you'd have a joint and you just, in my body.
I don't want that
Oh
shit
my
in my
God,
body.
I don't. That's funny. That's hilarious.
I don't.
You don't rate me, bro. You don't rate me.
I
hear you.
do, but hear me
hear
out,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Hear me out. Hear me,
Yeah.
hear me
I'm
out.
listening.
Like, then I get to like understand where you're at, like where your mind goes, like when you have a joint. As you, not as me. You get me? Because okay, I can have it and have it as me and go on whatever, but it would be interesting to just
Yeah.
like experience that from somebody's like mental, like what happens when they smoke a joint and what thoughts do they have when they're like, hi. Yeah, I rate you, dog. I want to hear what
It's
you...
interesting.
I want to see what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take something else back into my life and be like, I'm going to implement that. Maybe I'll stumble upon gold
Yeah.
and just have one of your like dope ideas.
Yeah. And if it was right now, it would bang, bro. Because also it would bang. Because also I haven't had a joint since like Feb.
Damn.
So you'd be like it would hit you. It would hit you.
You see? Sorry, but I don't mean to break
No, I
your
hear
streak.
you.
I don't
hear
mean to
you.
break your streak.
I hear
But
you.
I'm saying that's what I would do.
That's funny.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Peace sign for the
Peace
out.